Hey, coming up right now, reading between the lines, a student sues her school despite graduating with honors.
Also coming up, striking a chord, a flight attendant's bizarre decision that has passengers divided.
And a little bit later, oh baby, a mom delivers something way bigger than she even expected.
Oh my goodness. Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Jackson.
I'm Mitch English. Welcome to Daily Flash. Love having you here. Yes! Yeah. We have got a great show lined up for you. Sweet baby James working the floor.
Yes, I am. Always.
You're going to be on the champagne stage a little bit later on.
Yes,
I'm sure.
yes, you know, but there's no
The bubble room.
The bubble room.
Can I just point something out about Sweet Baby James? His shoelace was untied, and instead of tying it, he just shoved it into the shoe.
No one would have ever known that. He didn't say anything.
Now I'm
no
gonna
one
be looking at
knows.
it the
I did not. I've never done that before.
Say, hey, got to make it happen.
All right, with his 2 cents, we got Matt Doolittle joining us as well. Matty.
And you can see everything on our socials. And you know what? We have some behind-the-scenes stuff that Sweet Baby James captures all the time, including his shoelacing techniques. You can go to dailyflashshow.com to see everything. Go to flash@dailyflashshow.com, or rather, send us an email there and let us know about your shoe tying techniques as well.
Can I tell you something? When I was a fat guy, I used to literally, I can say that, right?
Okay,
I was
yes, you
literally
can.
twice the
We
size I
can't,
was
but
now.
you can.
I can say that, right? And you can tell a fat person's shoes because they tie them on the side.
Yep.
No, I'm serious.
Yep, my dad did that.
Right, because
My dad,
you have to do
Well,
it
you
like
got to
this.
get around the gut. Yeah.
You can't.
My dad, you got it.
You can't bend down to do this.
Oh, no, mine is in the middle.
But yours in the middle. I think that's
Are
a
those
test.
the Skechers slip-ins?
No.
Oh, right, true, right.
Shout out to Nike.
So
You wear Crocs.
I never realized it until one day. I realized, like, wow, I'm tying my shoe because I would sit down and I could reach down because your gut would get in the way and you couldn't reach. Or you get up and your face would be blood red because all the blood.
What my dad used to do was sit on the edge of the bed and hoof up his leg.
Yep.
And then he just went to Velcro.
And when Velcro came around, saved us. Right. I'm sorry, I'm going kind of crazy
No,
off
I think
these
it's
things.
great. First date. Do you remember where you took or where you met Liza
Yes.
for your first date?
We ate dinner there just the other day at the East End Market, right over by our
So you
house.
went for dinner.
We had coffee for the very first time. Yes.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay. Matt,
Columbia restaurant out at Celebration.
is that a coffee place?
It's
dinner?
a restaurant. It's
Did
a
you have
Cuban-
dinner?
Yeah,
or
we had
lunch?
a dinner at a Cuban restaurant.
So dinner was your first date?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
James?
No, I know I got
Which
lucky,
one?
though.
And
Yeah,
which
I
time?
know. Right? I guess the most previous. The latest?
Your first last date.
Netflix and chill.
That's smart, though. You get them to come to the house.
All right. The latest trend supports.
Well, hold
that-
on. What about you with your guy?
I'm trying to think. Oh, we went for drinks.
Y'all worked together.
Yeah,
so
we
there's
worked
a little bit
together.
different
Yeah,
about it.
exactly.
Okay.
So the latest trend when it comes to first dates, coffee houses. So coffee
Yes.
is the
Yes.
best.
And I'll tell you why.
You're saying
Yes.
the best first date.
Okay, the reason why is when you go,
Yeah.
number one, I'm not loading. Like, if there's nothing here for your first date,
Yeah.
you can get out of a coffee shop so much easier than you can. Now you're waiting on dinner, you're waiting on dinner, you got to pay the bill, and it's easier to where you have some coffee and then you can maybe do something a little bit later if it works out.
If the conversation carries over, then you
Exactly.
continue the date.
like
They're
it.
saying seeing the person in daylight
There's another
Wow,
one.
that's a good
and
one.
clear-headed. Okay.
No, all right.
Because if you go to dinner, it's dark.
Yeah.
You might have a couple cocktails. You might have the liquid courage. They're also saying it showcases someone's cleanliness and politeness. You see how they treat a barista or a waitress, and you also see when the date is done, do they pick up their dishes and take them? Do they clean up, or are they a complete slob and leave a mess on the table?
Oh, wow.
I love those. ideas.
Right? Exactly. Less commitment and pressure, as you had mentioned. Now, the guys say it's better for them because they feel oftentimes a woman just wants a free dinner.
Yes.
Yes.
That is facts.
Okay.
That is
And
facts.
I know women who do this particularly. They just go out on dates just for dinner.
And I dated
Yeah.
them. I'm sorry.
And they say that the low effort is, women say it's a low effort date. So that shouldn't be an excuse.
Would you imagine too? Like I don't have to get as dressed up if I
Yeah.
go to a coffee house. That
Exactly.
makes sense.
Yeah. And the guys say the coffee house has to be comfy. It can't be one of these sterile environments
Okay.
because I have to be able to sit on a comfy chair, or if we want to sit on a
somewhere.
couch together. So
Does it say something also if they pick one of these like fancy coffee houses, or they take you to a Panera or a Starbucks?
Ooh,
That's the
a
thing. The
good-
fancy, I imagine, make it
yeah.
more.
Make it more
well,
date-ish?
they
Like
have
a
some
local,
couches there.
local house or something.
I
like
think that
yeah.
will
Yeah.
say something because Liza picked out where where we were at, and it's a local,
Local
and
coffee
she
bar.
it said something about her. She
Yeah.
wouldn't want to go to that.
that's a good point.
So it made me think
yeah.
about her. I think the first date should be you go shopping. Because then you can find out everything about it, and then you can see if they put the cart away. Because I'm telling you, you don't
Yes,
put the cart away.
100%.
I want nothing to do with
Are
it.
you gonna go grocery shopping or like mall shopping?
Yes. No, grocery shopping.
100%.
You can see
Man,
what they eat,
If
how they eat.
don't put the cart away, done. Never
I
happening.
might have changed my mind if we went grocery shopping first, because I can't.
I know I would have.
It just forever.
Good call.
Because
Ever.
we would have stayed over and all the produce, and I would have been on the cereal aisle for the entire time. But it does say a lot about the
It does,
relationship.
of
if you think about
course.
that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Think about it. Where's some other great places? Why don't you drop us an email,
Yes.
flash@dailyflashshow.com. Forgot that email address? Don't worry about it. Just go to our website, click on our call to action, which is actually for you to drop us
Sound off.
Thank you. I was trying to think of the word. An honor student suing her school because she claims she cannot read or write. I said honor student.
Okay.
The Connecticut high school student just graduated with top honors and the scholarship to the University of Connecticut. Has a scholarship.
Has a scholarship.
19-year-old testified at a recent city council meeting that her local education system has failed her. She says that she had problems with, quote, letters, sounds, and numbers as early as first grade and acted out as a result of her learning disability. She says that she was finally tested about a month before graduation, only to find out that she's dyslexic. She now says that she has to rely on apps to translate speech and text for all of her college courses. So now there comes the lawsuit. It seems
right.
that somebody should have maybe picked this out, but I know dyslexia goes over, is not seen so many times. A lot of people think, oh, it's because you can't see, so you need glasses. Let's put them in the front of the class.
Right.
And dyslexia is often overlooked many, many times. You've seen people that actually can overcome it. I mean, I
Yeah.
think Tom Cruise is dyslexic,
Tom
right?
Cruise.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of famous people that are as well.
Channing Tatum.
But to sue him is like, what are you gonna do? I tell you what, you'll get your money back.
That's it. I mean,
Yeah.
who took the test? I mean, she had to take some sort of SAT or ACT in order to get to college, right?
Right, and
So
she's
how
a
did you
success
get a
out of it.
scholarship?
Yes.
Look, I'm dyslexic, and I mean, if you've ever seen me try to read a prompter, you can understand
So
why.
let's
Or
get you to read.
the read part. But I still graduated from UCF twice with a BA and an MBA, and I had most of the times I have to read something twice to actually get it because I read from the top.
You dropped off a couple
Thank
letters.
you, my degrees. Thank you. And if you ever see if you ever do a Teams meeting with me, you see my degrees.
Yes. But I can say this. Listen, we had this interview last week with this kid, Charlie Cooper, who is he has spinal
Amazing.
bifida and he plays tennis.
Amazing.
Okay,
Yeah.
and he went out and he's a really good tennis
Yeah.
player. Okay, she could look at this thing as well.
Yes.
Wow, you have dyslexia and you're an honor student.
Yes.
Why are you going back and suing? You
Right,
know what I'm saying?
right.
That was the albatross around your corner.
You're at the
around your
top
neck.
of your game. You're going to a great university. Why don't you say, hey, I've been through this. I've succeeded. Here's how. Let
Yeah.
me be an inspiration to you.
Now, I can't say hopefully, maybe she's not necessarily suing for money, but suing to say, you know what, maybe we need to do more dyslexia training. Maybe there might be something good that comes out of that. I mean,
Possible.
sometimes when we think sue, we think money. It's
Yeah.
a lot of times just to change policy.
It's usually about money.
But it's usually about money.
It's always about money.
If she's going to college, she's going to need that money.
Yeah, need that money. Yeah.
Money, she's going to need that and dyslexia. That's what it said.
Yoda.
I read it.
At UConn.com. United Airlines flight attendant made an unusual decision to help calm passengers as they landed in San Francisco. The unnamed crew member decided to break out his violin after landing in Northern California and played for passengers as they deplaned. He thought the musical serenade would help soothe travelers as they grabbed their bags to disembark in
Yeah.
the Bay Area. His performance was met with a round of applause from some and silence from others. Some called his behavior unsettling and thought it was a bit showy and self-indulgent.
Okay.
Oh,
All right, so here I am. If this happened to me, I probably would be the silent guy. Yeah, that's cool. I get it. 100%. They want to be different and everything.
Yeah.
I'm sure he does this with his wife at home all the time.
Yeah.
Huh? But anyway, I think, it's better than those jokes that they have told 10,000 times on the flight. You know what I'm saying? Like the flight attendant, those jokes.
Southwest ones.
Thank you. I didn't want to say it, but that's
I'll
what
say
it
it,
was.
Southwest.
But here's the thing. I've landed. I just want to get my bags
I'm
and
with
get
you.
the heck off the plane. I don't need to be
I'm with
serenaded.
you.
Besides, this reminds me, like, am I on the Titanic?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, when
Was
I
it a-
read this story,
Wait,
I'm
was
like,
it a Boeing?
No.
is this it?
Here's what I have a problem with. What do you mean there's nothing for my carry-ons? There's no room up here?
Yeah.
You got a stupid violin? Get that thing out of
I
there.
had to check my bag for this.
Yes, exactly. Think about that. All right, we are taking off. Don't worry, we got a flight plan that you're going to love with
Oh,
today's
yes.
trends and tomorrow's talk.
Yeah, stay with us. Don't move a muscle. You are watching Daily Flash. DailyFlashShow.com.
Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English. Babies, babies, babies. Experts say there's not enough babies being born here in the United States. What's the reason behind low birth rates and what does it mean for our future? We're here to talk about it. Allie Kelly. She's an economy reporter for Business Insider. Hey there, Allie.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am doing my part to add to the baby population. I have 4 of my own, and I did what I needed to do. However, here in the United States, we're needing some kids, and there's some surveys that are out that showing that many Americans, they want more kids, but the U.S. birth rate just continues to decline. Let's talk about some of the biggest factors that's driving this trend. What are they?
Yeah, so we know within the last decade, the US birth rate has declined by about 2% every year. And that hit a historic low in 2023, which was a 3% decline. So it's a pretty established pattern. And there's a couple reasons for this. We're finding that Gen Z and millennials, which is anybody kind of in their 20s and 30s, are waiting longer to have children, to buy a house, to do some of those major adult milestones. And a lot of that is financial. The cost of childcare is
Sure.
skyrocketing. Housing, people are just waiting until they're more financially stable to even consider having a family.
You know, I can buy into that. So I look at my life. My parents they were born in the Depression. They grew up in the 50s, 60s, and it was all about having a family. That was the thing, and that was the values that were put upon me. I started my family very, very young. But when you mentioned that they're waiting, I actually think that's responsible. I think that they're waiting to make sure that they're at the right place. However, I'm sure there's like a window that you have to be in, and with those financial concerns, the child care costs, work-life balances, and all those major barriers on having kids, what policies changes, or maybe even societal shifts could actually ease some of these pressures?
Yes, so definitely, like you mentioned, the cost of childcare. There's a couple federally subsidized childcare programs, and that also happens at the state level, but it's not always accessible, and there's a lot of requirements to qualify for those. Otherwise, both Democrats and Republicans have brought forward the idea of a child tax credit, which would mean that you don't have to pay quite as much taxes based on the amount of children that you have.
Right.
That's something that has been tried before. It was expanded during the pandemic and was exceptionally successful. It lifted a lot of families and a lot of children out of poverty. And then there's other, local programs, guaranteed income programs, stuff like that, that is aimed at alleviating the financial burden on a lot of families.
I alluded a little bit to this, but how do cultural expectations around parenting today actually compare to maybe previous generations?
Yes, I think that in past decades, of course, we've seen a lot more women in the workforce and a lot more women in higher paying, more executive level roles. And that, it means that perhaps there are less emphasis on like one parent stays home.
Yeah.
And so maybe both parents are working, and that provides more income, but maybe provides less flexibility in terms of how many children people have, how much they actually have to pay for childcare. The cost of living has gone up in a lot of cities, and in a lot of cases, some of these costs like childcare, like housing, have kind of outpaced wages and inflation. And so people are doing their best to get by with monthly bills.
Allie, in your reporting here, did you find that maybe some misconceptions about the declining birth rate that need to be addressed out of these things that we're finding out?
I think absolutely the birth rate is declining. One of the things that, in addition to just the fact that people are having less kids,
Yeah.
and what that means is in the future, this has major implications for the economy. Things like Social Security are funded by the amount of people that are in the workforce. The labor force is sustained by the amount of people that keep growing up and entering it. And so if we continue to have less children, a lot of pillars of the economy that are required to kind of have this population replacement could be affected. And that's part of the reason something like immigration is really important to the American economy, because it helps even out the fact that the birth rate is declining.
Makes a lot of sense. Allie, great stuff. And you want to find out more about this and so much more, you can head to businessinsider.com, where you'll find Allie's reports and so much more. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Good stuff, Mitch. Interesting interview. Okay, time for, and then there's this. Fashion keeps pushing boundaries, but this time it might have tripped over itself. French brand Accruity just dropped one-legged jeans for a cool $440. And yes, they are described as denim covering one leg while leaving the other completely free.
So stupid.
They were featured on social media, sparking debates over whether it was genius or a joke. But the joke's on us, because these one-legged jeans have actually sold out everywhere.
That's great. And here's the thing. I also understand on social media they've been going on and on about it, that it's like, I can make these. I don't have to pay $400. As a matter of fact, I can make them right now if I need to. But do you think a lot of this, and I guess we have to talk about fashion.
Yeah.
It's to make people, now we know about that brand name and that sort of thing. Nobody's going to wear that, right?
I would hope not, but you never know.
As a joke, but I mean, it catching on.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you would see somebody wear this at an award show, and that's probably it.
Exactly. I could see this happening at like an MTV awards show or the Grammys, where somebody wears this and some crazy sequin top, then that makes sense. But to wear this every day, I doubt it.
And that's what boggles my mind, of course, is the fact that they were worth $440, and the only reason why they're $440 is because they did something different.
Yes.
And again, and they've sold out, so people are buying them no matter what. It's out there, unless they bought them out themselves. Who knows? Hopefully, why not just wear shorts?
Well, there you go.
Skirts.
Oh, a skirt. I do recall the slashed jean trend.
Remember
when you
that?
had ripped jeans, and those were going for $200, $300, $400 a pop. And I remember people saying, "Well, why don't you just rip them yourself?"
Just do it yourself, which that way has a little characteristic. This is just cutting off one leg. That's it, and sewing it up. All right, today's trends, tomorrow's talk. We have more of it right here on.
In this week's Boss Lady, we introduce you to a woman who has started her own climate candy business. However, she's no stranger to sweet treats. She's part of the Spangler family, best known for making Dum Dum lollipops and other classic candies. Her name is Amy Keller, and she makes fruit chews out of imperfect fruits and veggies before they end up in the landfills. The Story Exchange shows us how she's making a difference in the $10 billion candy industry.
The number one issue around fighting climate change is food waste. 40% of food is wasted globally. And some of it's ending up in piggeries, livestock, landfill, places that it's not helping from a human health standpoint or the environment.
Hello, sir. How are you? So this is Faves, my climate candy, and it's made of imperfectly perfect fruits and vegetables. It tastes like strawberry and cherry Starburst.
Faves are fruit chew candy made out of upcycled fruits and vegetables. So you get your servings of fruits and vegetables through something as easy and accessible and affordable like candy, and you don't realize that you're doing something good for the planet. My family is Spangler Candy Company, and we make 2 billion Dum Dum lollipops every year, along with many other nostalgic candies. I used to make my own hybrid Dum Dum flavors. So we would put one in each cheek. So I used to like putting lemon in one and lime in the other. Within all the issues of the day. Climate change, that became something that I really cared about. Candy is a $10 billion industry yearly in just the US. So you can make a big change. I knew this, you can't start a candy factory out of a garage because you can't do anything small in the candy world. If we're gonna make a real change in the world and we're gonna get the bigger contracts, it's gotta be something where I can make millions at a time and hundreds of thousands of packs. Across the board, farms are all the same. They're all having high wastage. It's literally just the dimensions of the fruits and vegetables that don't work with grocery stores. We wanted to work with farmers in specific areas so our transportation footprint would be lighter, because we didn't want to be trekking things across the country. It's called climate candy. It needed to get to a point of becoming something that had higher shelf life. All right, well, I think we're ready to go. We'll see. Blueberry, raspberry, cherry. What are we doing today?
Cherry, what is it? Cherry strawberry today.
Cherry strawberry. It
Yep.
is. The classics. Perfect.
Machinery is right underneath,
Okay.
and we have enough of a workspace here that we can do anything that needs to be done, you know, combining flavors or just metering it, you know, whatever's got to
Amazing.
be done.
That's when we came in and said, why can't it be an ingredient and make it into puree or powders?
Yeah, I love this when you can see the powder going in.
Oh, it's amazing. After it becomes a powder, a puree, a juice, we make it into faves. Here, try one. It really, it tastes like peach and mango, but it's carrots and beets and squash and sweet potato and pumpkin. So you're eating your vegetables right now. We consider faves a candy because it has that sweetness that offsets your sweet tooth, and we advertise it in that way. We're trying to say, look, you have to eat your 5 to 8 servings of fruits and vegetables daily, and for them to recognize that there's a way for them to do it in a fun way. Just try one, you know? Just try it, see what you think. We've learned over the years that people love the fact that they're rescuing fruits and vegetables.
Oh, really good.
If something that you build, it has synergies with your mission, your vision, your values as a person, it makes it very easy to wake up in the morning and say, I'm making that change, and I know that the world will be better off if I succeed.
Hey, Mitchie.
Hey, Jackson!
Yeah, I want to talk about that big story coming out of
Hold
Hollywood.
on, wait. I want to get Matt in on this call, all right? Hold on.
Hey, what's up, Mitch and Dias?
Matty!
Mitchie.
Mateus.
Mitch, my man.
Matty of Birkenshire.
What's going on?
Hey, AJ wants us to talk about a big story that's happening.
This kid, the Kiki, says hi. He has his own Instagram.
That's great, Matt, but I really want to talk about this big story coming out of Hollywood.
Ooh, dog and cat! It's
You should check it out. This kid, the Kiki.
I want to know what's going on.
What?
Oh, okay, so real quick. Why does he still have a dial-up modem?
Hey, I gotta get back to wrestling stuff.
It's on the music.
You know what? Maybe we should just try this later.
Okay, all right. Peace and love.
Daily Flash.
Where are you?
It's just better when you're part of the conversation. Join us online. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hey, everybody. This is Daily Flash.
Sure is. Oh my goodness. Welcome
We
everyone.
love having you. That
We
beautiful
sure do.
woman right there is Andrea Jackson.
Hello.
I'm Mitch English. Love having you here. When you guys order something from
yes.
T-Mobile or whatever, do you have a little something for the driver right there by your front door?
No, but I should.
You ever heard about that? Anybody do that?
Yeah,
No,
one of my
that's a
neighbors
great
puts
idea.
water bottles out.
What? See, water bottles. I love that.
Oh, wow. During the summer.
Liza, she'll hand out vitamin C packets. She has vitamin C, and we have a little thing I made up that says, here, you're working hard, stay
that's
healthy,
nice.
that sort of thing. However, apparently, this is, according to these drivers that get tips, saying it has a big impact on their tips. because people are thinking, well, I don't need to tip you now because I'm giving you snacks and everything. And people on the internet are up in arms about this. I'm sure it started with the Uber drivers not getting enough. So like when you go up there and they'll say, hey, enjoy a snack, some people are saying, well, that's your tip. Well, here's the thing is that like I don't consider it that. I just usually leave those out for like your Amazon guys or people that are just, I haven't ordered pizza for or whatever.
Sure.
I give them a money because they make me do it on the app.
Yeah, that is, yes. I get water delivered to the house, as so many people do, and now on the app it says, leave a tip for your driver? Question mark. I'm like,
no.
Well,
Tipping everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, at what point does it end?
When I was in New York, the big thing there was, okay, there's going to be a little thing on the screen right here. And they would just kind of do this.
Yeah.
I was like,
Never did,
Yeah.
I think the only place, and we've talked, is my barista. I'll tip them because I see them working. I see them doing. Usually, it's that person doing it.
So my question is like, okay, so if I'm tipping you throughout the year, then are you also expecting something at Christmas? Because
that's a very good point.
I mean, I usually
glad you
try
said
and
that, yes.
take care of the garbage delivery guys and the UPS and everybody else at Christmas time with a gift card, but I'm not taking care of them on a daily basis. So am I supposed to do both now?
I hope, they're supposed to move in and you take care of them. And they live in your garage. Is what you're supposed to, that's the next step. You realize that, right?
Can this be a tax write-off?
I say it would be. I think, they're trying to get rid of, tipping, reporting your tips as well.
Yeah.
Maybe that might help. I don't know. Or it could make it worse. Who knows about tipping?
Shouldn't that company be paying those folks more than enough instead of them depending on me tipping them for a delivery here and there?
Andrea, it is more expensive to have a pizza delivered than the pizza itself.
You're not kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many
100%.
charges they add on to that. Like if you buy a $9 pizza, they'll put a $5 delivery charge plus a convenience fee, plus then you have the tip.
I get on my wife about that. She wants to like have everything delivered, and I'm like, I will go to the Target that is 2 blocks away and pick it up to save the $10.
Yeah. Talk about a delivery charge. My goodness.
All right, let's go.
This will make sense.
I just came up with
That was awesome.
I didn't even think about that ahead of
That
time.
was great.
An Alabama mother was left in disbelief when she gave birth to a baby girl twice the size of an average newborn. Pamela Mann's newborn weighed a whopping 13 pounds. Look at that beautiful baby. The news stunned the 31-year-old who believed the baby had weighed the standard size for a newborn. Nurses were making a special trip to the maternity ward just to see the big baby. Mann's family has already jumped on giving the girl nicknames like Pork Chop and Big Mama.
Oh no.
According to data, the average birth weight for a full-term baby is 7 pounds. According to Guinness World Records, the heaviest baby on record weighed 22 pounds. Born in Italy back in 1955.
I'm a guy, and that hurts.
That person's still alive then.
How much? Do you know how much you weighed when you were born?
I think 7 pounds.
So you were normal.
Yeah.
Maddie?
6 pounds.
6 was normal. Big James?
I'm 8.
8 pounds.
Well, look at you.
And now all of you are taller than me. I was 10 pounds.
It was your
I
head.
was over 10 pounds.
Was that
yes.
big head?
It was my head. No, it was my mom. They call me tomato head. I'm wearing the picture. I'm like this, and all they can get was my head in the picture. And I'm like this, and my face is all red. And they call me tomato head. Didn't affect me at all.
Well, that's gonna stick.
Yeah. Growing up.
No, not at all.
Nothing.
Didn't define who you were.
Tomato head and more. Right
We're
after.
back right after this. Welcome back to Daily Flash. We've heard some economists whispering the word recession during the past couple of years. So when it comes to your budget and your retirement, how do you plan for a possible dip in the economy? Here with the answers is Amanda Webster. She is the Chief Revenue Officer of Accruity. Amanda, welcome back. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you so much, as always.
So with growing concerns about a continued recession carrying over from the Biden administration, what are some financial steps we should take right now to protect our budget and even our investments?
Yeah, this should be an ongoing thing no matter what, right? But right now, I would say strengthen your emergency fund, right? Always great to have that ready to go. Reducing high interest debt. That is always a solid plan no matter what. reassessing of investments to make sure you have cash flow to, do what you need to do. Cutting expenses, right? Living below your means should always be a goal as well. And then maintaining access to credit, but not relying on it, right? Just having an extra safety net, but not always relying on that.
You mentioned the emergency fund. How can people build an emergency fund if they're already living paycheck to paycheck? Because I know some experts say the standard is to have 6 months worth of your living expenses saved. And that's impossible for a lot of people. What do you recommend?
So I wouldn't say impossible, but it's not realistic in a short time, right? So
Yeah.
you want to be able to set small, realistic goals. Even if you can only do $5 a week, right? Start with that $5 a week because every momentum you get going is going to help. One of the things I love is the roundup apps, right? There's a lot out there. I happen to use Acorns. It's, it just automatically rounds up my spending, goes into a savings account without me even thinking about it. Temporary side hustles, right? Always a good thing. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, look at ways you could even temporarily just boost. And then I always recommend unexpected money, right? If you get a raise, if you get bonuses, if you get a bigger tax return than you expected, don't just put it into your checking account. Pretend like it didn't happen, throw it into your savings, and all of that is going to kind of compound as you get through these months.
That's great advice because I think when people get that, let's say, tax return, they think, oh, free money, let's go spend it. So if we pretend like we never got it, then maybe we can save it and it can build some interest. What are some common financial mistakes you see people make during economic downturns, and how can they avoid them?
So panic selling investments, right? That's one of the most notorious ones. And that's really not a good idea. You might need to sell some, you might need to readjust, but not necessarily doing it in a panic. They take on high interest debt because they get scared. They don't take the time to look and see what's out there. Ignoring budget adjustments because it just wasn't a priority. Not having the emergency fund, right? That's a mistake that everybody needs to look at. Failing to reevaluate things like insurance policies can help you kind of save those things. Missing opportunities on investments and ability to grow because you want to hold on to your money, right? You shouldn't stop investing just because these things are happening. We've been through these recessions. We've been through these things. If you just stay the course with realistic goals, you'll be okay.
Yeah, when you look at the trends, it's a pendulum, right? It swings back and forth. And if you can just be patient, usually it ends up coming back around even bigger and better. Beyond saving money, what are some proactive ways people can safeguard their careers and future income during uncertain economic times?
I think with your career, always be prepared, not scared, right? You should always be open to other opportunities. You should always be expanding your professional network. Personal brands are huge these days. We live in this, social media society. LinkedIn, like if you don't have it, no matter what field you're in, it's a great tool to have. So stay competitive, adaptable, new opportunities, be open to it, and invest in yourself.
Amanda Webster, always great to chat with you. Good advice, good insight for our financial futures. For more information on how to prepare for a possible recession, you can head over to
favorite thing.
What is that?
Hard-boiled eggs. But if
Stop
you
it.
have to make them, do you
Stop
start them in cold water or hot water? I just hate the smell.
Well, it's nice to see you so positive today about one of my favorite foods, hard-boiled eggs.
I know.
Neither. You don't want to start it in cold water because cold water, what will happen is the membrane on the outside is going to stick to the egg. And the more you put in there, you're not going to be able to control the temperature of the water. If you have hot water and you put 12 eggs in, you don't know how cool it's going to be and how quick the stove comes up to a boil. What we do know is that when we take an inch of water, place this inside, look, place them in, we know that steam is even cooking. We're not changing the temperature of the water because we're steaming it. So the steam is going to stay at temperature. Place the lid on, let that go for about 12 minutes and you'll end up with the perfect hard-boiled egg. Not just that, because of the steam, it denatures that membrane. It's going to be effortless to peel. So that's how you make the perfect hard-boiled egg.
Thanks for the tip.
Hey, Hey, welcome back. As we spring forward, it is time to reset and refresh. Lifestyle editor Joanne Butler joins us with a few of her favorite things. Hey there, Joanne.
Hi, thanks for having me. Yeah, with tax season in full swing, scammers are working overtime to steal your personal information and your refunds even at every stage of the tax filing process, even attempting to file fraudulent returns in your name. In fact, 81% of people have reported falling victim to a tax scam, according to the latest LifeLock study. So you really need to be careful, especially with all the AI, this year. So I've partnered with LifeLock to share some easy tips to help you stay safe. First, know that the IRS will never reach out to you via email, text, or social media to request personal or financial info. So if you see anything from the IRS through these methods, it's likely a scam. Next, be careful with tax prep services and make sure your tax preparer has a valid preparer tax ID number and is actually authorized to file returns. A service like LifeLock is great because it helps monitor and protect against identity theft. Norton 360 with LifeLock, great, an all-in-one protection for your devices, so online privacy and identity, plus Norton Genie scam protection that uses AI to detect and fight against scams. All of it will alert you and help flag suspicious texts and emails and websites you browse, blocks fraudulent calls, just lots of layers of protection to help you avoid becoming the next scam victim. Next, spring clean all of your passwords, update them, enable multi-factor authentication on your accounts and your devices, and double check your credit reports for signs of ID theft. The key is to stay ahead of scammers before they get you. And it doesn't need to be complicated. Just get it done one fell swoop. Hit lifelock.com or norton.com, two great websites that have a ton of great advice and more ways to stay protected. Now, this time of year is also when you want to make sure everything in your home is up to snuff too, checking fire alarms, smoke detectors. You also want to make sure your power is protected during unexpected outages. I can't tell you how many times, I've been caught. So again, you want to be protected before it gets you. So I'm loving this kit from Jackery. It's their 5,000 plus essential home backup kit. Comes with two 500-watt high-powered solar panels along with a smart transfer switch that just seamlessly integrates into your home's electrical system, letting you generate your own clean power. And unlike traditional gas generators, it's quiet and indoor safe. And whole home systems that require hefty installation, this kit will cover your most needed essentials for half the cost, even during extended outages. So the fridge, the lights, your internet, your computer, just all of it. This is just simple but very powerful, super smart investment to keep you powered, connected, and safe. And that's what it's all about. For more info on this, visit jackery.com. Now, last but not least, check the outside of your home too. Check your roof, give it a once over, check the gutters, check the screens. Sometimes during the winter months, the screens get loosed and you'll be outside hanging out and a screen will fall. So you don't want that to happen. So just give your home a good once over and you'll be good to go. And happy, safe spring.
McLaughlin's Bar is a family-owned pub in Ireland. It's been in their family for about 155 years. Now, with no family left to take over, the current owners are teaming up with Heineken to find a successor. Here's more.
McLaughlin's Bar has been in the family for 155 years, passed down through 4 generations.
The name McLaughlin is woven into the very fabric of the pub. I'd love to see the story continue. I'd love to see the McLaughlin name stay over the door. And so finding another McLaughlin to take over would mean continuing that family tradition and keeping Josie's name above the door for future generations. Heineken has stepped in to find us a new McLaughlin to carry on the family name. They've launched a big campaign with ads and billboards in cities all over the world, and they're reaching out to the Irish communities where McLaughlin descendants might be living. Heineken will also be helping the new owner get on their feet behind the bar, including mentorship, business support and guidance. If you're a McLaughlin and want to connect with your roots, you can go to the campaign's website and apply. Visit pubsuccession.com to learn how you can be part of keeping this family tradition alive.
Hey, McLaren has a new convertible supercar for 2025, and it's both powerful and electrified. Check it out.
Looking for a new car and you have about $300,000 to spend? I have just the thing. this ultra-quick 2025 McLaren Artura Spider. And when I say quick, I mean 0 to 60 in 3 seconds and a top speed of 205 miles per hour. Power comes from a 3-liter twin-turbo V6, but the Artura is also a plug-in hybrid. Total output is 690 horsepower. The big benefit here is that because it's a hybrid, the electric motor provides instant torque and awe-inspiring acceleration. Of course, $300,000 is a lot of money to spend on a new car, but you're going to think it's money well spent every time you hear the sound of that twin-turbo V6 firing up.
I'm Andrea Jackson.
I'm Mitch English, welcoming you to
Mitch English and Andrea Jackson have co-hosted together for over a decade. And now, only on Daily Flash, they serve up a fast, fun, fresh perspective on the day's trending news and entertainment.
Okay, so you want me to cancel the Will and Jada Smith celebrity roast? Okay, will do.
You'll be entertained with intriguing, informative, and engaging guests. Daily Flash offers the latest in pop news, celebrity gossip, fashion, health, wellness, and even some unscripted, irreverent, who knows what's next fun.
All right, I'm gonna pull a groin. That's not what broke.
Daily Flash with Mitch English and Andrea Jackson. Trending news and entertainment.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. An ice cream truck driver discovers a secret way to win as a contestant on a game show called Press Your Luck. This is today's must-watch movie, The Luckiest Man in America.
From Television City in Hollywood, it's time to press your luck.
I just came off a 3-day trek from my hometown in Ohio. And I drive an ice cream truck. I love the show. I've probably seen every episode.
I like the guy. Stories like those are why America loves game shows.
Let's meet our 3 contestants vying for the big bucks.
Big bucks.
Now, the big board is filled with money, but be careful of the whammies because they'll take you right back down to 0.
Let's see those big bucks. Stop!
4,000 and a spin.
I'm gonna keep going.
Stop! 16,000.
You all seen this? Pass, man.
Mathematicians are giving me 6 to 1 odds.
What's wrong with this guy?
Keep going.
He's gonna go. Stop! $24,000.
Again.
We have a problem. Somebody didn't vet this guy. He's not playing the game right. We gotta scare him.
It'd be a real pity if we got held up here in LA.
It's a lot of money. Do you want to spin and risk losing it all?
I said again.
I tried to warn him.
Just find out who this guy is.
Are you doing something wrong?
Maxwell Club's in a big deal right now. That's gonna change everything.
I don't know what to tell you. Heads are gonna roll for this.
Do I know you from somewhere? Not America's Most Wanted, right?
You think that he's working alone? I have no idea.
All part of the game, right?
You just made more than anyone in the history of game shows.
Luck is just a good excuse to do nothing and then hope that an opportunity comes a knocking.
No whammies.
No whammies, no whammies. That looks interesting. Yeah. Another behind-the-scenes look at a game show.
Yeah, very cool. From all of us, thank you for spending time with us. Be good, everybody.
We'll see you when we look at you. Bye-bye, y'all.